Countdown to kickoff continuing. Let's head out to Miami with Marc Eisenberg of WQAM. Brandon Marshall, if this guy can stay healthy, it is a huge success, it seems like, for him and the offense. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, Marshall's had a tough off-season with the the off-field issues that he's had, with his wife and things of that nature. But once he kept everything quiet and he was able to get the opportunity to work with Chad Henne and new offensive coordinator Brian Daboll in the off-season, Henne and Marshall have developed a rapport off the field, which is very underrated. And you can see things clicking at camp, at practice, and in the first 4 preseason games that there's been a development here between Henne and Marshall. Look, we all know that he's a top talent at the wide receiver position. That's why the Dolphins made that acquisition and gave up a second-round draft pick a year ago. He didn't have a horrible season last year. He just didn't get into the end zone. But I think this year, under Daboll's new offense and the rapport he's developing with Chad Henne, I think you might be able to see the Brandon Marshall old back in his Denver days.
Talk to me about Reggie Bush. How's he fitting into the offense so far?
Reggie's going to be the guy. I mean, Ronnie Brown didn't want to be here. He's no longer here. He's in Philadelphia. Ricky Williams did not want to be here. He's no longer here. He's up in Baltimore right now. So it comes down to Reggie Bush. They drafted Daniel Thomas, the rookie out of Kansas State, in the second round. They went out and they made the acquisition for Reggie Bush. And then that's it. That's what they were going to go with. And the speculation was that Reggie Bush was going to be the third down guy. But Tony Sparano's come out and said Reggie Bush is going to be their guy. He's going to be the every down back. Thomas now is hurt. He's not going to be able to play. He's questionable for tonight. They went and re-signed Larry Johnson, who they had in. They let go, and they brought him back. So there's some injuries in the backfield, and Reggie Bush is going to be the guy. A lot of people are thinking that he's going to be a 10 to 12, 13 kind of touch a game. I honestly think you're going to see Reggie Bush, and in order for the Dolphins to be successful, Reggie Bush is going to have to touch the ball 20 times. Their fullback, Charles Clay, the rookie, he's out. Lex Hillier's going to move to the fullback position, which I think is going to open up a lot of things for Reggie Bush.
Let's head out to our Facebook page, facebook.com/TYT Sports. Anthony Del Campo asks you, do you guys think the Dolphins should stick with Chad Henne or go and sign or trade for a proven veteran like Orton?
Well, they tried to do that, and Denver wanted too much. The Dolphins weren't going to give that up. And I think the thing with Chad Henne is he was kind of handcuffed under Dan Henning's offense a year ago, especially the way they would run the Wildcat. Chad Henne would get into a rhythm a little bit here and there, and then all of a sudden he would come out, Ronnie Brown would go in to run the Wildcat, and Chad Henne would lose his momentum. Right now, under the new offense of Brian Daboll, I think Chad Henne's their guy. And look, Tony Sparano knows that he's under the watch. His time's coming up right now. They got to win, and they got to win now. So under no point were they going to go with a young quarterback. That's why they didn't draft a guy early on. They didn't go out and get a Matt Hasselbeck or a Vince Young or an Orton or anybody like that. Chad Henne is Tony Sparano's guy, and that's who he's going to go with.
That's somewhat surprising to me to hear, because it seemed like in the offseason there were so many people who were saying, what the hell is he doing here? Bring in Kyle Orton. Why wouldn't you bring in Kyle Orton? So I guess there's everyone's answer.
Well, I mean, and the price was too high as well. I mean, look, they took the second-round pick in Chad Henne a few years ago, and the biggest knock on Chad Henne was his leadership ability. Can he get it done in the huddle? And I've talked to a lot of guys on the team, some guys in his own huddle in the offense, who say, sometimes when they get in the huddle, they look at him and they have no confidence that he can get the job done whatsoever. But I think things have changed over the last couple months. You see, Henne getting a little bit more confidence inside of himself. The fans have been down on Chad Henne big time, but after he's shown that he can start throwing the ball down the field a little bit, things are starting to turn for Chad Henne. But we'll see, in the first game against New England here, was that just a preseason, or are they going to open it up now and maybe he'll gain some confidence and be the quarterback for the future for the Dolphins?
Marc, it seems like there's a lot of competition in Miami between the Hurricanes and the Dolphins. How much would it mean to not only the team and the fans, but to the city of Miami if the Dolphins had a successful year this year?
Oh, well, I mean, look, it is a football town down here in Miami, and people live and die with their Hurricanes and with their Dolphins. But it's, for the most part, it's two separate fan bases, what it is. When it comes to the NFL, we're a melting pot down here where we have people from New York and Philadelphia and Chicago and everywhere. Most of the time, you're going to see the stadium tonight where it's going to fit 70,000 people, but you'll see 20,000 New England Patriot fans in there. You don't usually see that at a Hurricanes game. I mean, the Hurricanes fans, they're the diehards, they're the faithful, they're the ones who they live live and breathe with the Hurricanes. And I can tell you, if you injected Hurricane and Dolphin fans with truth serum, if you found one person that was a fan of both teams and you injected them with truth serum and said, who would you rather have the more successful season this year, I can tell you 9 times out of 10 they'll say Hurricanes.
That's surprising. Last question for you, Marc. Over under 7.5 wins for the Dolphins this year. What's your take on that?
You know, I did my radio show just 2 days ago, and I went through the over-unders, and I saved the Dolphins for last, and I looked at that number at 7.5. And you look inside the division, this is before we saw any action in the regular season, and right off the bat, you got to look at a team like New England atop that division. I mean, they're the class of the AFC, the class of the AFC East. You got to look at them pegged for 12, 13 wins. Then, you know what, while I think the Dolphins might be a little bit improved, and I think the Jets are not as good as they were a year ago, I still think the Jets are better than the Dolphins, but I still think they're at that 9-win, 10-win area. When I look at the schedule and I see how difficult it is when you have to have, you're going to play New England twice, and you have to play the Jets twice, and, you're going to host the Houston Texans who crushed the Colts, and you have to play the Philadelphia Eagles, and, the Raiders are going to be a difficult task down here, and Buffalo is much improved. In order to go over the 7.5, the Dolphins have to finish 500 at 8-8. So I think they're right around that area, anywhere from like 7-9 to 9-7. But gun to my head, 7.5. I'm going to take the under.